What do you think about that? How do you feel about testing?
About testing?
Yes.
Well, I got to tell you that if the SAT was an indication, if I could have gone to college and if I could have gone on and do an advanced degree, I would not have graduated from college today. I did not do good in the SAT or the GMAT. It's just, I mean, in growing up in Trinidad and Tobago, never really taught us. We don't know, back then we didn't know anything about the SAT.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come to this country then, and you have to go to college, you have to take the SAT. You know, I mean, I went into that class and I saw some words in that vocabulary stuff, and I was like, wow. I didn't know they had words like this in the dictionary.
Do you think that people should be tested for things?
To college, I don't think the SAT is an indication whether you're going to be a good student or a bad student in college.
What about other tests? Civil service exams, tests to get jobs, drug tests. What about all those other kinds of tests?
Drug test is different, though.
It's still a test you can pass or fail, and it doesn't mean that because you are smoking marijuana. I've never heard so many people telling me I need to go smoke a joint than today. Today I've been told that about 7 times. At any rate.
7 times about what?
That I need to go smoke some weed, some cheeb, as you would say.
You need to go smoke some cheeb?
I've been told that. My students told me that.
For what?
I've had other teachers tell me that.
Well,
I'm sitting in the bar and
you?
people are talking about that.
What does that do for you?
For me or anyone in general?
Yeah. I mean, unless you're taking it as a herb. I understand that there are some good side effects.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some good side effects that can help you.
You know, there's a side effect that it helps you go to sleep, and it gives you an appetite. It gives you an appetite.
Okay.
I heard one side effect is that it gives you an appetite. I've known some people who are sick and had surgery and were having difficulties with their appetite. And, you know, they take the candy marijuana, and, man, they got hungry real quick. They were eating up a storm.
I don't know if that necessarily works with everyone, but...
It worked.
But how do you feel about testing, though?
I don't think it's necessary.
In what cases?
SAT, ACT, NJ Ask, all that stuff, it's a waste of time.
How do you make an assessment on whether someone has mastered material?
No. Testing in class is different from those tests. In classes, you should be tested on the material, but that shouldn't be the main criteria. There should be other criteria as well, you know, to figure out whether you are a good student or not. It shouldn't just be...
What other criteria can determine if
a project? Like, for example, in management, you have talk about planning, leading, organizing, and controlling, right? So that means to say that if you are just giving a student a test or 2 tests or 3 tests, for example, and saying that is the basis of how I'm going to give you a grade, that's not right. But if you give the student a project and tell them they have to come as a team and they have to put this project together and then they have to make a presentation, right?
And what if the presentation isn't that great?
What is the presentation one?
What if the presentation isn't that great?
You get a bad grade. So that means to say you now have to go.
But the presentation itself is a test, yes?
Well, it's not. You don't have to go and study for it.
There should be some study.
You don't have to go and memorize stuff for it.
But testing and memorization, I don't think have anything to do with one another.
Yeah, it does. Because I'll give you an example. The way how I kind of help, because in principles of management, there is a lot of, for example, you know, what is the management process? The management process involves planning, leading, organizing, and controlling, right? Some people may have difficulties remember that. But if you tell them it's PLOC, planning,
yes,
leading, organizing, and controlling, it's easier for them now to remember the management process.
But then the next question should be, what is meant by planning? What is meant by leading? What is meant by
no, you're going to tell them you have to describe
Of course.
Describe it, or explain and describe the management process, or describe the management process, right? So, but once you are able to say it's PLOC, right? Then all I got to remember is what P is planning, right? Then I got to be able to describe planning. I got to be able to describe organizing, right? Controlling. I'm able to describe leading, and you're good to go, right?
I suppose, but I mean,
it simplifies it. A lot of people just gives you the information and don't try, just something to jog your memory, to give you a little. You're still going to learn what the process is, but now you are learning it you are simplifying it.
What does controlling mean? What does that mean?
Well, you're able to control whatever the project is. You are in control of the project. How are you going to control the project? For example, if you're going to let this one talk about, if you have a question and you have 5 different parts, right? You're going to be able to control who speaks about what. This person might be able to speak better about something else.
Well, I would think that would be part of the whole planning stage.
Well, that's planning, and you have to control. For example, if you have 10 minutes, you have to be able to control, right, that you don't go over 10 minutes. So it's giving them hands-on planning, leading, organizing, and controlling. Whereas opposed to a test, I'm going to memorize it, and when I'm coming to the exam, I hope I remember, okay. But in a project, it's hands-on, and you got to do all these different type of things that you have to do out in the business world today.
Well, I would hope that tests would help, would gauge a person's ability to think more than so than memorize.
SAT didn't give me any ability for me to think.
Well, let's hope that the revamped SAT will offer an opportunity.
I think the SAT is useless, if you ask me. It's useless. When you go to school, do you take anything to do with that SAT? When you go to college, did you take any of that stuff to do with the SAT?
But I do believe that tests predict something in people.
I'm not saying it doesn't predict. But
I'm not saying it's like the best indicator, but
majority
they
of people,
do indicate something, Ansel.
It does indicate something. But the majority of people, I believe, right? You know what? Some people score high on the SAT, right? And when they go to college, they have problems.
Mm-hmm. And some people score low and they don't have problems.
Yeah. In that they can't assimilate in. It's like all of a sudden, I'm out there, man. I'm in college. I'm on my own. On my own.
Oh no! Please don't.
Once again.
Oh God.
and they just go off. Now here's another story in the Village Green. Work and play in South Orange helps parents balance work and family. 1 out of every 3 people in the United States is a freelancer, and many others work telecommute from home full-time or occasionally. Though working from home has its benefit, especially for parents of young children, it can be isolating. There are times when nothing can substitute for interacting with peers in a communal place. Enter Work and Play, a new co-working facility in South Orange designed to help working parents balance career and family. A membership-based shared office space with on-site optional childcare, Work and Play offers parents the chance to work alongside others, allowing for camaraderie and idea exchange while their children play downstairs with experienced caregivers. The work and child spaces are set to open on February the 2nd. The facility already offers a range of children classes open to the general public. Founder Deborah Engel, a Maplewood resident, mother of 3, and public relations professional, sees her business as the wave of the future. There are 800 co-working spaces nationwide, but coupling co-working with childcare is a brand new concept, said Engel, as she showed off the newly renovated 2-story space at 19 Prospect Street. There are only a handful of similar businesses in existence, says Engel. The site offers a 1,500 square foot shared workspace with rentable private office space and conference room, plus an optional babysitting program. The light, airy, and functional workspace is wired for everything, said Engel. Members can use the semi-private cubicles and have the option to rent private offices and conference rooms for a low hourly rate. Wi-Fi, a printer, and coffee are free. It's all about community, said Engel. We want people to come here and be able to balance life and family. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. You know what that reminds me of?
No, what is
that? You ever heard about virtual offices?
No.
Okay. Here's what that is. In when you have a business and you want to impress people, if you have a Wall Street address, doesn't that sound really good?
It does.
So there is quite a few virtual offices on Wall Street where you can get a plan. You can get a plan.
I'm sorry, that's probably our guest.
You got to get a plan, right? You can get a plan. They give you an address. They give you a secretary. All right? They even give you a telephone number. And someone can call and ask for your business, and a secretary will answer the phone like, this is Get Out the Fund.
All right.
Who you'll speak? They like to speak to Marjorie Lloyd. Marjorie Lloyd is not in right now. Can I take a message? They take the message. They can send the message to you. You can forward the message to you immediately via text, or they can send a voicemail. If you have to do a business meeting, you can then go into the office. They might give you office space.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah?
I've heard of situations like that.
10 hours a month or something like that. And then they give you a conference room. If you need to use a conference room, you can do that as well. So this idea is a very excellent idea by Miss Engel. And she's also incorporating, babysitting or child care in it. It's a great idea. Very great idea. Right? Now, opening membership rates are as follows. Full-time member, all you can work is $150 a month. Full part-time membership for 20 hours is $75 a month. And flex member, 15 hours over 3 months is $60 flat rate. Babysitting rates are additionally determined by membership level. Discounts are available for consistent childcare hours. Full-time members is $25 for a 2-hour session. Part-time members is $28 for a 2-hour session. And flex member is $30 for a 2-hour session. So, I guess work and play in South Orange. Balance work and family life. Excellent idea, I must say. How about this other one? One young man's journey from South Orange to Kambela, Ethiopia and back.
I read that article.
I know that guy, Eric Dowd. I know his mother and father very well. He played soccer with my son.
Eric?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Eric? I think it's Eric. Yeah. After graduating from Colby College, Dowd went on a 3-month research trip to Kambela, Ethiopia. Kambela is usually closed off to outsiders, said Dowd. However, after being granted permission by the government, he was part of a team to establish and monitor a national park. So, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Do you know anything about these national parks?
No, I don't know anything. How about you?
Yes, I do. Let me share some
so
information.
enlighten the audience.
Enlighten the audience. The national parks, as I've told students of mine, that people believe, still have these ideas that animals and people live together in Africa. I hate to say in Africa, but, in random African countries. And, that lions and elephants are just walking
Just
around.
Before you continue, I just want to announce that coming up at about 8:30 or 8:45, we have Patrice Hale and Anthony Bonnet coming in to have a discussion with us.
Yes.
About their case against the New Jersey Transit Corporation.
Yes, and so if you hear my phone go off, that's them letting us know they're at the door. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking with them in another 10-15 minutes.
Hopefully.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so...
And before you go, let me send a SOMO out. We don't send shout out, to Dr. Matthew Johnson, who's listening.
Matthew Johnson? Hi,
yeah,
Matthew.
Dr. Matthew Johnson is listening. He called me and told me he's going to tune in. So, Dr. Matthew Johnson, if you're listening, we send you a special SOMO out. We don't send shout outs here. We originate, we don't imitate.
Okay, and so, but that's not a new line, so...
Which line is that?
We originate and we don't imitate.
No, I didn't say that was a new line.
Okay, but no, you say stuff like, you know, you just made it up. But the Sumo Out is
a new line, though.
Okay, that is out. That's new.
Yeah, that's original. That's what I'm saying. It's original.